my name is Megan Peters, and I'm the community manager at Mashable. I'm extremely excited to be introducing Scott Heiferman, the co-founder and CEO of Meetup. Meetup is the world's largest network of local groups who are using the internet to get off the internet. Each week, 50,000 meetups are self-organized and attended by millions of people throughout the world. No matter what your hobby or interest may be, there's most likely a meetup for it. In fact, Mashable fans have made us the #1 organization sparking meetups by organizing nearly 1,000 Mashable meetups in less than a year. Scott lives in New York City and graduated from the University of Iowa. He was named the 2004 MIT Tech Review Innovator of the Year and is focused for the long haul on Meetup revolutionizing local communities everywhere. Today at Mashable Connect, Scott will be talking about starting a movement in the 21st century and what comes after fans and followers. Please welcome Scott to the stage.
Thanks. All right. Good afternoon, Orlando. Although I see that the #1 city y'all are from is New York, so we could have just done this in New York, but we got Mickey. We got Mickey here. Okay, so I am, before I really get started, I wanted to show off, I got two announcements today, and get to show off one new thing, which is our Meetups API has now a live stream, we call it the garden hose, of all RSVPs that happen in real time, so people can do interesting things with that data. Right now, live as we speak, it's 29 RSVPs a minute, and it is really fun and addictive it's uncensored, so you don't know what kind of weird shit will appear, but this is actual live data. Isn't that cool? Yeah. All right, so let me get going here. These guys have organized this conference so well, and they're so conscious of time and using time well, that I've decided to use time in the most poor way that I could possibly use it, which is I'm going to basically just give away about 20% of my time right now. Here's how. I want you all to put away the laptops and the phones and the iPads for a moment, and find someone right around you that you haven't talked to or met yet, and take a minute or two to talk to them. Take a minute or two to introduce yourself to a stranger. Okay. Okay, everybody. So there's a point to that. So there is a point to that, and it's not just that the person around you is probably more interesting to talk to than me, which is probably the case. It's that we're on a mission at Meetup to get people to talk to each other, or more importantly, it's this. And it's the one sort of big, fresh idea that I hope you take away from this little bit of time I've got with you. And that is, you and your brand have an enormous opportunity to give people permission to talk to each other. So far too often, and this is not the case of Mashable Connect, but far too often a conference will happen, and people will line up in their rows, and they'll be the good audience member, they'll be the good consumer, they'll be the good passenger, they'll be the good spectator, and they'll listen to the guy on the stage, and you got to really fight to actually talk to people, or more importantly, you're not really given permission to talk to people, given license to talk to the people around you, and that's a problem. So, why I love Mashable. Number one, Mashable is the world's most meetupable brand right now. We launched this experiment a year ago of a really just crazy side platform on Meetup, which is to let media properties and brands give their audience, their fans, their followers, their customers the power to meet up with each other. And lots of brands have had people plant themselves in 1,000 cities, but Mashable is about to be the very first to actually have had 1,000 meetups happen in 1,000 cities. This is what they look like. Little mini versions of what you guys were just doing, talking to each other, but in cities and countries around the world. The other thing that I love about Mashable is that they call their conference Connect. And content is not king. Contact is king. Connect is king. Connect, connect, connect. Mashable meetups were responsible for how many collaborations, hirings, partnerships, inspirations, friendships, hookups, companies started. You know, it's when people connect. Mashable Connect. That's when the magic happens. And it's such a obvious, concept. You didn't pay to hear me say the obvious, but it is really, really often forgotten. So connecting leads to community. It leads to collaboration. It leads to coordination. And holy shit, did Egyptians really do what Egyptians did because they had the new power to connect? There's 1,000 things to explain how the uprising in Egypt happened, but it is no different than a Mashable meetup, a mom's meetup, a small business meetup, or anything else. It's the simple power of this idea of how the next 40 years will be the most important in human history. It's because people have more power than ever to connect with each other and be powerful together. The next wave, one of the people look at Groupon as a lot of things, but you have to remember it emerged out of a collective action platform. And so we all know, what the web happened, that the web happened, and iPads happened, and social is happening. But the thing that is the future is how are people going to be powerful together? And that doesn't just mean in uprisings in their country. It means in how, because you've connected with people here today, you might get a new job because of it, or you might start a company with someone, or who knows what. So let me back up and tell you the story of how Meetup got started. Well, I won't tell you really I'll tell you the very short version of it, which is Meetup is a 9/11 baby. I grew up in Illinois, went to school in Iowa, moved to New York, went into the ad business, realized I hated the ad business, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and then 9/11 happened, and I talked to more neighbors in the days after 9/11 than I had in the previous years in New York. So me and some friends, we set up a website called Meetup and decided we were going to let people self-organize meetups anywhere about anything. We didn't know what people were going to use it for. Actually, what we thought they were going to use it for, they didn't use it for. What they did use it for were things we didn't imagine, such as this Illinois state senator decided to run for U.S. Senate, and he has, with his crazy, wacko community organizer background, thought that a good way to campaign would be to tell his people that they could meet up with each other. So he put Meetup on his website. By the way, to the web designers in the room, I highly recommend welcome to our website. It's a really good thing that you should have on your homepage. So anyway, this guy, campaigned by going from Meetup to Meetup. If a Meetup got a certain number of RSVPs, he would show up. And I don't know whatever happened to this guy, but it's an interesting strategy. So my job, because of experiences like that, I was not interested in politics or movements or anything like that. It pushed me to think about what's a movement, because we saw these movements emerge. And then it dawned on me and those that were really paying attention that a movement is a sum of communities around it. In other words, meetups make a movement. That movements are literally made of communities. A movement is not a campaign. It's not a media concept. It's people engaging at a level where they are literally forming communities and they move. That's a movement. If it's not a movement if people aren't talking to each other, just like you were talking to each other, I gave you permission to talk to each other. No communities, no movement, no meetups, no communities. Now, how else does this get into play? Well, this guy goes on his little TV show and says, all right, viewers, go meet up with each other. And what did they do? They formed meetups in, well, this says 600, but now 700 towns, and that became the Tea Party. because he used this. Why isn't this talked about? That media is a catalyst for community that makes for this crazy shit to happen, like the emergence of a Tea Party. It's not, just the charismatic leader. It's how they catalyze people to connect, Mashable Connect. So who else played with this? Oh. Let me bring this back. Can I get audio here?
Want to be a force for change? Then be part of the movement to improve public schools in your community.
Yeah.
Go to oprah.com/education and click on Meetup.
Okay. You get the gist of it? Sorry, you can't hear it. So Oprah goes on her show a few months ago. It takes 14 seconds and on a show about education and says, it's okay. And says, go meet up with each other. And what happened? They planted themselves in 1,000 towns. In something like a quarter to a half of them, they actually met up. This is what that looked like. And things happened. Viewers in San Antonio worked to find volunteers to help tutor kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, what is the future of media? That's the future of media. The way Mashable, as a media property, tells you to meet up, and then boom, meetups happen. That's the future of media. But what I want to make here is it's not just media. It's a brand thing too. So one of my colleagues who's here today, she actually wrote this for Oprah. Catherine Fink. And it's really such a wonderful encapsulation of what we're talking about. So Oprah, this was on the Oprah website. After 25 years of connecting with my audience, what if my audience connected with each other? Isn't that awesome? Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what I learned from 7 million meetups and 70 million RSVPs to those meetups is that when people meet up, we see a common word emerge. When they write about what happened and what comes out of it. And that word is let's. So at this Oprah meetup, they say, the people wrote, let's join together and make a difference in kids' lives. At this small business meetup in Atlanta, let's join together and help each other build our businesses. Let's make each other exercise at the Exercise Haters exercise group of Lenexa, Kansas. Anyone from Lenexa? I doubt it. Really? Okay. Let's all create a fabulous women's motorcycle community. Let's help each other get some basic home improvement projects done and learn some new skills. By the way, I love this meetup group. This is in, Bowie, Maryland. Do it herself. What they do is women, they say, I need home improvement projects done. You need home improvement projects done. I know something about tiling. You know something about a little bit of carpentry or something. Or this person doesn't know anything. Well, they help each other out, and they meet up at each other's homes and work on these projects together. That's the future, by the way. People turning to each other in that way and doing stuff like that. Let's help each other out. Let's get together once a month and let our beautiful giant dogs drool all over each other. Let's. This is what happens when people meet up. Let's hear it for let's. Let's hear it for let's. So what you need to think about, and I really, really ask that this isn't just that you stop tweeting for 1 second, and ask yourself, do you have the power in your job to tell people to meet up, your customers, your constituents, your fans, your followers? And what would happen if they met up with each other? Let's use the internet to get people off the internet because there's more to life than like. They like you. They really like you on Facebook, but now what? Like can lead to let's. And I love this quote. I stole it from someone, I forget. Someone could Google this, but it's a famous quote. Sentiment without action is the ruin of the soul. The like button is just this sentiment. But what if those people who love your brand were to connect with each other? Amazing things can happen. So what if people didn't just like you, but they liked each other thanks to you? And so creating value can come out of you being that catalyst for them to connect with each other. Fans and followers are not a movement. Get them to self-organize. See leaders emerge. You want accidents, serendipity, luck, randomness, fate, and coincidences to happen because you just said, hey, go meet up with each other. An audience will watch you lose. A community will help you win. And by you, I mean you, your brand, your mission, whatever it is you're doing. That quote was from someone at the New York City Community Managers Meetup, which I hear is wonderful. Anyone a member of that meetup? A few? All right. Okay. So when people meet up, they help each other, they support each other, and they energize each other for your mission or your brand or your purpose. I just got to have one more slide that has that word each other, because it's my favorite two words right now, and it's again telling people to talk to each other, telling them to connect with each other. When I came to Disney World as a kid, I loved Captain EO. So each other, just think of that EO. So I implore you to quit your job if you work on a brand that people don't love enough to meet up about. Okay, anyone in? I'm serious. The best brands have fans who would love to meet up with each other, and when people meet up, movements emerge. And we're very early in this phenomenon, but I say, mark my words, that's going to, you're going to see movements emerge out of a brand just because people met up, conversations happen, community happens, and the thing just grows. So when I say, some of the best brands, Meetup has two platforms, our basic Meetup platform, which is all that self-organizing locally, and then there's this Meetup Everywhere, which is used by brands that over these past, right now you're seeing a lot of Meetup days. So one of the big surprises that we found by launching this platform that enables brands to tell their people to meet up is that Meetup Day is really become quite a phenomenon. From Threadless Meetup Day, Huffington Post Meetup Day, Foursquare Meetup Day happened in about 500 towns around the world, and they go on and on. But from Firefox to Etsy and Mashable, Instagram, they're having fantastic meetup days. They're really pioneering something powerful. So you all probably know, that Seth Godin talks about permission marketing, which means get permission from your fans to connect with the brand. Get permission from the fans so the brand can talk to people. But I say the new permission marketing is give permission for fans to connect with each other. The next wave in social media isn't media; it's actually social, and you're going to see more of the opportunities like this for people to meet up. So I would even go so far as to say the mark of a great brand in the 21st century will be that there are meetups around it, or meetups that they're supporting, or meetups that they are have something to do with. So let me boil it down to two, the two takeaways, and then I got the two announcements tied to these things. The two ways for a brand to use Meetup for movement building is either one, to declare your Meetup Day for your fans, and there's so much ways to have fun with it. There's so many ways, and if I had more time, I would show you what some of these brands are doing that are just phenomenal. But then the second way a brand can use Meetup, which is very different, is to sponsor existing Meetup communities. Let me show you that for a second. We, earlier this year, were able that business of, so Meetup is profitable, but we have no ads. But we have this new sponsorship business that represents about 15% of our revenue. We have been able, as of January, from in this relatively new business, paid out to Meetup groups over $1 million. What that means is it's a brand like GE saying, we want to sponsor the green meetups, and we take some of the money and we give some of the money to these actual communities, to these green meetup communities. It's really kind of neat. So I get to say today we're announcing new meetup community sponsors. Chevy is sponsoring green meetups. Verizon is sponsoring parenting meetups, which, by the way, is our number one category, parenting meetups. There's a moms meetup starting every minute, 24/7. These are just depressed new moms who need to connect with other moms in their neighborhood. Craft is sponsoring gardening and green parenting meetups, and J&J is sponsoring fitness and weight loss meetups. This is a really interesting new phenomenon that they're going in and they're getting thanked by these communities. Oh, and 3M is doing some too. Okay, I'm not going to skip over those examples. So here's the other thing. Here's the other announcement. And this is related to how to declare a meetup day. We kept noticing that if you go to people, that on Facebook walls of your Facebook page, you see people say, you know, I'm in Chicago trying to find other supporters to get involved with, or I'm in this town and I'm interested in learning more about, you know, this brand or this product, or wanting to get help with the thing, or whatever it might be. And that is a woman, Erin. Now, Erins are everywhere, but you're not helping them connect with each other or giving them permission to talk to each other in real life. So the experiment that we're doing that is launching in a few weeks is called Meetup for Facebook pages. And this is what it looks like. So we're launching with some launch partners in the beginning of June, where it's very simple. You add meetups to your Facebook page, and by just setting a date. You say, I want all of our likers to meet up on June 14th. And they can talk about our product. They can, you might get creative with it. I mean, there's so much room for creativity in this, but it's very simple. Within the Facebook, totally within the Facebook environment, people will see their town, whether or not there's anyone else signed up yet, and say that they're interested, and boom, you're going to see the meetups happen everywhere. You can imagine, by the way, that when the folks who set up who created the whole Egyptian movement, that they don't have to just meet up in Tahrir Square in Cairo. The whole diaspora of Egyptians around the world, and those that are in solidarity with them, could have met up in 1,000 cities. I mean, God bless Mashable, but I mean, there are other things that people can meet up about and be really powerful together. So this is who to talk to if you so we have 5 spots that we're holding off for the Mashable community to be launch partners of this new Meetup for Facebook pages. And she's in charge of that, Catherine at meetup.com. So wrapping up, the most exciting thing in the future is not TV on your phone. It is billions of people using their phones to be powerful together. And is it okay to talk to strangers? Hello? Yes, I think so. Thank you, guys. Yeah, let's...
Okay. We're going to take a very short time to take a couple questions from the audience. Question? Yes. Yeah.
Where?
Have you ever created meetup platforms for specific companies where it's almost like password protected, or?
That it's almost like what connected?
Password protected?
Well, in a way, so all those, these great brands, from Etsy, Foursquare, they tell their people to meet up with each other, and they have sort of admin access to all the meetups that are going on around them. In addition, for companies that sponsor the existing communities, they have the ability to contact, have special access to what's going on in those communities, and able to communicate with them and do crazy, interesting things with those communities. Yes, sir. And I'm going to take this question, but I want to hear one person who's toying with the notion of what it would mean for you to tell your customers, followers, fans, to meet up with each other. Like, what's an interesting use of that? Yes, sir, in the back.
Is there a Meetup API? And if so, what are a couple of interesting uses that you see it?
Yes. What's interesting, actually, that whole Facebook, that new Facebook Meetup for Facebook pages, was built using the Meetup API. So the Meetup API is really wide open and flexible, and we're seeing a lot of interesting things. I mean, the most simple form of it is that tons of sites that are aggregating events that are going on around the world are incorporating the meetup data. Like if you go to everyblock.com, that tells you everything that's going on in your neighborhood. It'll show you all the meetups that are going on in your neighborhood. So lots of neat stuff there. So the last thing is who's having any ideas about how you might have your people meet up? Yeah.
So I work for HGTV, and we've been talking about we have people that we give away 3 big homes a year, 2 homes, 3 homes, no Oasis. We have people that show up on their own all the time, but we've never done anything. We haven't really done organized like this.
Yeah.
And so.
Cool. Yeah, TV being a catalyst for community is really powerful. All right.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.